missed that. Okay, cool. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Okay, the title of this lesson is going to be going into where is the growth, as you can see. Okay, because as you continue on in this walk, you're supposed to go from one level to the next, man. Matter of fact, let's get Acts chapter 14. Okay, Acts chapter 14. And when you go into that, read the first verse. Whoever got it. You got it? You see? 15. Yeah, 15. And turn the page real quick. Yeah, there we go. Where it talks about how we were supposed to abstain from meats and things offered unto idols. So read verse 29.
Gotcha. This is Acts chapter 15 and verse 29.
Yeah, because when you first come into the faith, you have basic requirements, basic things that you can immediately stop doing. Okay, and so this was the decision that was made by the church at that time. Instructions on what to do when you come into the faith. Is that the start of it? Verse 28.
28, gotcha.
Yep. I guess it's all good, brother.
And it reads, Acts chapter 15 and verse 28. For it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us.
15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah, 15 and 28. You say 15?
No, 15.
Okay, cool.
Got it. Yep. It's Acts 15 and verse 28. It reads, for it seemed good to us, but it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay upon you greater burden than these necessary things.
Yeah, no greater burden.
Oh, no greater burden.
That what it says,
Yeah,
right?
no greater burden.
Yeah, because these are the necessary things, man. That when you first come into the truth, these are things that you can immediately start doing, right? We're just setting the tone for the lesson. Okay, go.
That ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication.
Right. So don't eat anything that dies of itself. Okay. Don't be basically partaking in the sacrifices, because see, it was more open, the sacrifices of different animals to other gods, because there were temples all around. We're talking about during the time of the Roman Empire. So there were sacrifices that were being done to other gods, and when you eat of that sacrifice, basically you are in a sense you're communing with that demonic entity that you're sacrificing to, man. Talking about, back during the Roman Empire, you had, different feasts to different gods that were that were observed, and they would sacrifice an animal, but not to the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They would sacrifice it to Diana, for example, right? They would sacrifice it to Mars or Apollos, right? And so now that we have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we know not to do those things. Now, you don't have those things, those temples physically erected here to where people are killing animals and live, and live processions and handing out the meat, right? But the sentiment is the same, okay? Don't be banqueting and rioting, with Satanists, for example, right? You're not gonna go to a satanic church buffet in the truth. That's right. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell are you doing there? Yo, just go to the grocery store, man. You see? Okay, let's go down the list again, verse 29.
God, continue on. It's Acts 15 and verse 29. They abstain from meats offered to idols.
Yeah, because you may say, damn, well, hold on, isn't all the meats offered to idols here? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's all tainted. This meat that we receive now is mass produced as far, the scripture saying Ezekiel what? I believe it's 13, where it talks about we're going to eat our bread defiled amongst the heathen.
That's right.
You see? So hey, you know, we currently in America, we don't have farms, we don't grow our own food. Majority of brothers don't have the land to, you know, raise cattle and have the meats basically raised up and slaughtered in a more natural way. Okay? But back then it was more so you could choose, okay, I can purchase my meat from this farm. You knew the person that you was buying the meat from, right? And again, you had open processions of feasts going into other idols. Okay? So we don't partake in that. That's what the letter was saying. These are basic things that you can do when you first come in. Go ahead.
God, it says, and from blood, and from things strangled.
Right. Abstain from blood. You're not supposed to eat the meat while before the blood has drained out. Like Esau likes the bloody ass steak, for example. Yeah, let me get it rare. Medium rare at best, but he likes that blood. You know, he likes to have that blood
On the plate.
Just like how back with Jacob and Esau. You know, he wanted that morsel of meat. He wanted those lentils and whatever stew that Jacob was making.
But it was cooked yet.
It wasn't finished. He said, "Look, give it to me now." That's that I gotta have it now spirit that comes from Esau, man. That's not the way that we think as a nation of Israelites. Go ahead.
It reads, and from fornication.
And also too, in the scriptures, when you read in the law, it talks about how the life is in the blood. So you're not supposed to like even when you go to 1 Samuel and you read the instance where Jonathan and Saul, their army were pushing back the Philistines, right? And basically they were so damn hungry because Saul said, "Look, anybody eat food this day, he gonna let them be cursed." Right? By the time they finally got to the food, they was killing the animals and they wasn't even letting the blood drain out, and basically it was a sin upon them. You see, so you're not supposed to eat the meat with the blood in it. Okay? So that's the basic stuff that we know, but this is an edict that was going out. So this had to be published, right? To the proselytes, the newly converted, right? Go ahead.
God, it reads, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well.
Yeah. Now what's fornication?
Basically, illicit sexual acts or adultery.
Adultery, man. Abstain from fornication, meaning when you have a woman or a man has a woman, you don't go out your way to try. You don't touch her. You don't look at. You don't try to get her number. Obviously, they didn't have cell phones back then, but you don't try to sneak behind, sneak in the back door while he's out at war or while he's out, at work. You don't touch her, man. You don't even think about popping her, because Yahushua said, whosoever committed, what does it say? Looking after a woman to lust after her has committed adultery already in his heart, man. And this talking about a woman already that has a husband. If you thinking about, oh man, I'm trying to see how I can pop her. I'm trying to see how I can deal with her, but she's married. You already committed adultery in your head. That means you're gonna go for it with it. You see? You're gonna go for it with it if you already thinking like that. So Yahushua said, look, don't even think like that. You see what I'm saying? So these are the basics. These are the basic things that any Israelite that say they believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai can immediately apply to their lives, right? Is there more?
It says, "Fear ye will."
Right. So that was the end of the letter that went out. You brothers can read Acts 15 going into that whole council. Now, the title of this lesson is called what? Where's the growth? Because you got a lot of Israelites that they just, they don't eat pork. They don't, to their best of their ability, they don't deal with no woman that's married to their knowledge, I'll say, or married in the sense of have a boyfriend, or even if a girl is talking to somebody, she said, oh yeah, it's complicated. Anything that's not I'm single, don't deal, man. Right? But okay. And then also, you know, the dietary law, right? But you're supposed to be growing in the truth, man. You see? You're supposed to be abounding in the truth. Okay? As a believer in Yahweh Shem Shai, you're supposed to grow in the faith. Okay? So let's get that in Sirach. Yeah. Unless you had a precept, bro.
Yeah, I got one probably waiting.
Okay. Go ahead and get that in Sirach. Go ahead, brother.
This is Sirach 33, Sirach 34 and 9. A man that had traveled knoweth many things.
Yep. So as time goes by, you're supposed to gain what? Experience. Go ahead.
And he that hath much experience will declare wisdom.
And he that has much experience will declare wisdom. So you're not supposed to be sitting on your hands, right, the whole time that you're in the faith and not coming up on a level. You're supposed to be abounding in this thing, man. Okay? Read that verse again, Baba Kushah.
This is Sirach chapter 34 and 9. A man that hath traveled knoweth many things. And he that hath much experience will declare wisdom.
You see that? So again, we're declaring wisdom off of the things that we've seen through these travels, through our walk, right? This doesn't necessarily even have to be physically traveling. Of course, you're gonna view and see different things if you travel physically. In this walk too, we are moving, man. You're not supposed to be stagnant, okay? So you're going to be declaring wisdom from those things that you've seen. But if you're not putting to work any of Yahweh Shem Shai's talents, then you just sitting on your hands, man. You see? What you got, Ari? Go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 18. But the path of the just is as a shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. Right? And it says it's going to shine more and more unto the perfect day. Well, ultimately, we're being refined each day, man. We're supposed to be growing. We're supposed to be being more and more into the image of Yahweh Shai. You know, which comes by us abiding in the living water. So the living water is the word, but also by us applying the scriptures in these situations. So we speak it, but we gotta live it and actually go through it. And that's how we'll actually really fully get the understanding. So that's what's supposed to be happening through this whole time. Not just you just know all this stuff, but you ain't applying anything, or you're not using it, you're not obeying it, what the Heavenly Father said. At that point, then you're as I was going into, you're not growing.
Oh, matter of fact, let's get 2 Peter. Yeah, no, that's beautiful, brother. 2 Peter,
Right there.
no, 2. I'm sorry, no, yeah, 1 and that's it.
Yeah, I had
yeah,
that.
actually, yeah. So start at verse 3.
3, gotcha. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. According as his divine power hath given us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that have called us into glory and virtue.
Right. So Yahweh Shai has provided all of the things that we need, man. Through the grace of Yahweh Shai, we have access to that as believers in Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So guess what? It says, oh, did you read verse 4?
No,
read verse 4. Yeah, go ahead.
Now. Yep. This is verse 4. Whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises.
Right. So these are the key things that we need to grow. Just like a plant has what is that? The photosynthesis, right? The plant needs sunlight, okay, oxygen. I'm sorry. What's the other one that we breathe out? Carbon dioxide, because it produces oxygen. So it needs carbon dioxide, sunlight, of course, the nutrients from the soil and water. That's what a plant needs in order to grow. Okay? So what we need in order to grow is this in verse 4. Read it again.
God, it says,
Oh, chlorophyll. That's what
Chlorophyll.
That's the the thing
Surface
inside the
stuff.
cell
Yes.
that makes a plant green. Chlorophyll. You got it, bro.
God, it says that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature.
No, read verse 4.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, you going from the top? I got you.
Yeah, read verse 4.
Yep.
again.
2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 4 from the top. Whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature.
That's how we grow, man. The promises, but guess what? You have to actively work. Go ahead. So my bad. It's because we've been given the tools, but if you don't work, the tools ain't gonna just start using themselves. You have to be the one to apply those tools, man, to build. Go ahead.
It says, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust.
Yep. Because if we continue to endure to the end, we're gonna receive those new bodies that are incorruptible. Go ahead.
Verse 5, and beside this, giving all diligence.
Right. So on top of this, this is the action that we need to take. Okay? Because again, the title of this lesson is where is the growth? If you don't have no diligence, then you're not gonna grow. You see? You can't just be a sluggard, man. You gotta have the intent to come up on a level. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge.
Yeah, so okay, you believe in Yahweh Shai. Now what? It says add to that faith virtue. So you're not supposed to be no nigger out here, man. You're not supposed to be misrepresenting Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai in your daily life when you're at work, when you're at the grocery store. Okay? Act like you have some sense, man. when you're at a restaurant, you being all belligerent with everybody you meet. You see? You're supposed to do right by people, man. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 6, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience.
Right, it says, and to your faith, virtue, and virtue knowledge. Okay, so you're supposed to add knowledge. You're supposed to continue to be reading, man. Continue to be consuming, being in these scriptures. Even us just being out here doing lessons. We're adding to our faith knowledge, man. Because guess what? One thing that a brother might say through the Spirit may edify another brother that not just on the listening on YouTube, but brothers out here that come to the camp, they get edified too. Brothers that's in the camp, right? So we all learning through experience, like we brought out in Sirach, and still hold that. We're gonna finish that out. Read to verse 8.
Continuing on, it says, 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 6, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience.
You see that? So when you're temperate, when you are able to control your emotions, and you're not feminine, and you're not overly emotional, and you start to become logical, and you actually move like you have some testosterone flowing through your veins, then you become temperate. You become cool, calm, collected. You see that? Like the scriptures talk about being unmovable in our faith. You see? You're supposed to be grounded in the faith. Y'all wish I talk about that in Matthew 13. You see? You're supposed to be rooted, man. Okay? Because you had the parable of the sower, right? Sparing those seeds, the ones that spread the seed on the good ground, or the seeds that were sown upon the good ground, I should say, are those individuals that actually believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and when a little bit of tribulation comes, they don't get uprooted, man. Okay? So we prayed to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai that we were sown on that good ground. Okay? Continue on.
It reads, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness.
You see that? Because when you become patient, then it's not about time anymore. You don't have a time limit on when Yahweh Shai gonna return. You see? You just like, screw it. I'ma serve my sentence like a soldier, man. You see? Like a prisoner of Yahweh Shai, man. Like, yo, when Yahweh Sap, when Joseph, when he was in jail, okay? When he was in jail, in Egypt, before he was raised up, I'm talking about before he was raised up, he was thrown in jail for some years. But for some shit that he didn't even do. You see? He suffered that patiently, man. He suffered that patiently. He didn't lose his faith. He was in that mug for years. I believe it was like 3 years, like 5, it was some years. So that's an example of patience, right? Suffering. Because patience is really just suffering. You You got a woman, you want to pop her, but you got to be patient. That's like suffering. You like, damn, I got to wait. You want to, you know, like, or, you know, you waiting for that paycheck to come in. That's like suffering, really. Like, damn, to a degree, it's not torture, but to a degree, it's a level of suffering. Like, damn, like you'd be good if it had come just right now. So how much more when Acts the first chapter, the disciples asked Yahushua, will you then restore the kingdom of Israel? And what Yahushua say? It is not for you to know, right? But my Father in heaven is going to determine that, roughly paraphrasing. And when he sent me, I'm gonna return just like how you know, just like how I'm sent up. I'm gonna return back down. That's what Yahushua said, right? So that's to a degree, that's a level of uncomfortability, man. Because we're in this hellhole. We're not alone though. We're not alone, but that's a level of pain. That's a level of, you know, what's the word I used earlier? With patient suffering. That's a level of suffering, man. Because we don't want to fucking be here no more, man. But we have to be. You see? Go ahead, bro.
Continuing on, verse 7. And to godliness, brotherly kindness.
You see that? Now see, that's when it starts to, you suffer your brother. You suffer your, you know, you suffer, if a brother transgress against you and he repent, what do Yahushua say? Well, we got to get that, man. I'm quoting them, but we got to pull them. Okay? How many times are we supposed to forgive our brethren? Matthew 18 and 22. Somebody get Matthew 18 and 22 real quick. I start up 2 verses, actually.
Matthew, you said 13?
18.
18?
Yeah, 18.
22.
I start up 2 verses.
This is Matthew 18 and 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together.
No. Verse 20, you gotta learn to get to the point, bro. That's it right there. It's all good. Okay. I mean, that's cool. That's a good one, but that's not the point.
Okay. 21.
Yeah, if I say, if a brother quotes something, a verse off or something, but it's talking about something completely different, sometimes, you know, it might be a verse off. But yeah, 21, that's it.
Matthew 18 and 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me?
That's it right there.
And I forgive him.
Yep. So this is a lesson that we can take, because again, Peter came to Yahushua and was like, Lord, how many times shall my brother, a believer in you, how many times do I have to forgive him if he sinned against me? Right? How many times? If he believes though, if he's a true believer, right? A true believer, read it again.
Matthew 18, 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
Right. So Peter was asking Yahushua, how many times I gotta forgive this dude? He keep, you know, whatever it was, it doesn't go into detail, whatever exactly it was, but Peter was fed up. It's like, man, damn, man. You know, like, if it wasn't for your belief, you know, I wouldn't rock with you. You see? But that shows you how powerful the love of Yahushua is, because guess what? If you're a true believer in Yahushua, you actually really gonna be remorseful for transgressing you know, against your brother, man. If you're a true believer in Yahushua, then you're gonna repent. Okay? And it may be various different things, you know, but you want to always, of course, strive to offend less. But look at what Yahushua said.
Matthew 18, 22, Yahushua said unto him, I say not unto thee until 70 times.
No, read it again.
Oh, it's like, this is Matthew 18, 22. Yahushua said unto him, I said not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
Right. So Yahushua said, look, don't be trying to count how many times you forgive your brother, man. Now, again, it says, how many times shall my brother sin against me? Not Esau, or these other nations, right? Or a nigga for that matter, man. Talking about like a 2/3, you know, scumbag, two-third so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American that doesn't believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. We're not talking about them. They're not our brothers, man. They are according to the flesh, but the scriptures say they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. So we ain't even talking about them. We're talking about somebody who's striving to receive the same penny that we striving for. Salvation, you know, those are our brothers, man. Yahweh Shai said that. He that does the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same as my mother and my brother and my sister. You see, those are our brothers, man. You see, the scriptures say that there's a friend that sticketh closer to a brother. So if you don't got a great relationship with your siblings, you know, like the sons and daughters of your mother and father, yo, don't even sweat. Because I'd rather have the believers in Yahweh Shai around than somebody that don't believe in Yahweh Shai, but they just related to me. You see? Now, if they just so happen to be related to me and they believe in Yahweh Shai, hey, call Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right? But, again, it's about your belief system, man. It's about your morals, okay? So, again, you're supposed to be growing over time because guess what? Peter grew from that. He understood, okay, I gotta forgive my brother no matter what if he's a true believer. You see? If he's a true believer in Yahweh Shai, because guess what? That man, he's striving for the kingdom too. You see? And the scriptures talk about that if a brother be overtaken in a fault. What you're supposed to do, restore such a man, okay, to where his faith is built up. Considering yourself, lest you also be tempted. Right? So that's the end, that's the point on that. Let's go back to finish that out until verse 18. I'm sorry, verse 8. Gotcha.
This is 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7. And to godliness, brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, charity. Verse 8. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
So these qualities that we just went into 10, 15 minutes of explaining in detail, if these qualities are in you and they abound, let's get that word. Babu Kushah. Let's get that word abound, man. It says if these things be in you and abound, it will make you to where you are neither unfruitful or what?
Barren.
Or barren, man. You see? So we don't want to be unfruitful or barren. We want to bear forth fruit, right? You know a tree by its fruit. So we want to produce forth the fruits of the Spirit, man. You got it?
Kind.
Go ahead.
This Strong G 4121, and it reads, pleonazo, and it says to increase, to exist in abundance. It says to make increase one in a thing.
Right. So it says, what is the other one? Super what?
Superabound.
Superabound, man. Yeah. So you're supposed to be plentiful, man. You're supposed to increase, man. Increase in the spirit, increase in charity, increase in fervency, increase in diligence, increase that fire, man. Okay? Every fire ain't the same temperature. Okay? You got, you know, I mean, every fire is hot to our standards, but you got different levels of heat. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got what they say, like blue fire, to my understanding, they say burns hotter than a red flame, right? Like you got the red flame, and then you got orange flame, you got yellow flame, and then some things burn green, and then the blue I think is the hottest. Or no, purple, like violet. Like if you get, like it's red, like if you see a purple flame, I think that's like the hottest one. Or like a white flame, you know what I mean? Yeah, it, like the closer to blue, a blue is hot, you know, so you can always increase that fervency, man, because the scriptures say that you can never go far enough in praising Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, okay? So again, the question is, where is the growth? Do you even want to grow? Do you want to just stay stagnant, man? Do you really just want to just be on the same level that you're on forever? Or do you want to show Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai that you want to obtain that new body by actually putting forth work. You see? And you can't make yourself level up in the sense of just, you know, downloading something to your, you know, to your brain like a computer. Okay? You got to continue to maintain those attributes that we just went over in 2 Peter chapter 1. Okay? And time is going to progress, and you're going to continue to stay up on the level. It's a constant fight. You got more?
Yeah, I want to get Strong's.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the Strong's definitions. It says to do, make, or be more. Yep, and it says to do, make, or be more. So, you know, we all know the parable of the talents that Yahushua will give us, man. With those talents, you got to multiply those talents. So he gave brothers different gifts and different things they can do to be a minister, to serve, right? You're supposed to multiply those things by you actually putting forth works. And that's how you grow. You see, because what the Lord is saying, once you multiply those talents, He'll give you more. You'll hit a new level. You see, and then now you got new obstacles, new things that you got to hit. Go past that. It's gonna be a continual cycle until we get delivered. Just a little bit more. It says to abound, abundant, make, to increase, have over.
Right, man. And the scriptures talk about, oh, you know what? Let me get this precept real quick. What you got? Or did you want to speak on that, brother?
God, yep. It says. You see, look at it one more time. It says make abundant. That means a lot. So that means whatever the Lord have given us, you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to make the best use of that. You know what I'm saying? Because some brothers might have a smaller portion, but you're supposed to multiply that portion. You know what I'm saying? You be diligent with whatever the Lord gave you, and you serve with that. And guess what? In due time, if you continue to be diligent, the Lord He'll give you more. He'll increase you.
Okay, yeah. Let's get that Psalms, and then we'll you finish that in 2 Peter 1.
Psalms 23 and 5.
I was thinking Revelation, but kind of jumped off.
Oh no. 23 and 5. Yeah. It's also 3.
This is Psalms 23 and 5, and it reads, Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies.
And we got to remember, we're in enemy territory. Okay? This is a Psalm of David, right? What does it say there?
It says the Psalm of David.
Yep. So look, I'm sorry. The scriptures say through David, he said that the Lord prepared a table before him in the presence of his enemies, right? Let's get that word table. Before we continue on, let's get that word table. Okay? Yeah. Psalms 25. I'm sorry, Psalms 23 and 5. Yeah.
You said table.
Yeah,
Gotcha. This is Strong's H 7979, and it reads. It says Shalkhan.
No.
Oh, Shak.
Spell it out, brother. It's okay. You got time.
Shallah. So Shallah. Shalakhan.
Sha-la-ka. No.
Oh, nah, that's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Threw me off. So Shalakhanah.
Shalakhan. Yep.
And it reads, table of king's table, private use, sacred uses. Strong's.
Read that right there. Right. By implication.
Gotcha.
A meal.
Yep. It says by implication a meal.
You see that? So, with that understanding, right? Read that again.
This is Psalms 23 and 5. Thou preparest a table before me.
Right. So a table in this instance is a meal. Okay? Go ahead.
Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies.
Right. It says in the presence of David's enemies. Look, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah set up a meal, a buffet. You see, to where we're able to grow, we're able to get nourished, even while we're in the midst of all of this BS, man, with our enemies. That's a gift. That's a blessing, man. You see? Go ahead.
Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over.
Right, man. And that's the point. Okay? We're supposed to abound. Okay? And who is the one that's providing those provisions? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. He's the one that provides the meal and the table, and the meal in the midst of our enemies. He's the one that we trust in. He's the one that fills up our cup and exceedingly, man. He says, my cup runneth over. So even in the midst of war and battle, spiritually, okay, this is what we can glean from this verse, because of course David was at war physically, but it was also a mental battle too, of maintaining his integrity. Well, we go through those same mental battles too, rebuking Satan, and we have to remember that, look, the Lord prepared a table for us, man, in the midst of our enemies. And he overfilled our cup to where we have more than enough to win, man, to overcome. You see? So, you know, that when we go into that word abound, it made me think of that precept. But I know you were holding that Sirach for a minute. What was the other ones that you were reading, that you were holding? I saw you were holding Matthew 21 as well. What you got?
I got Revelation 3.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Revelation chapter 3 in verse 15. And it reads, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would that thou wert cold or hot. So going to like somebody being lukewarm, like they're in between. You're not being on fire. Scriptures apply to being on fire is when you're fervent, when you're fully diligent for this thing. This is your priority. But it says, the point right here, verse 16, it says, so then because thou art lukewarm, so that means like in between, you're not growing. Yep. You're not hot or cold, you're just in the middle. Yep. Right? The Lord ain't dealing with it. The Lord, it's either gray or white. It's either you fully persuaded in this thing and you all fully down, or you're not. And if you're fully down, your actions is gonna show that.
Right.
But it says, so then because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So if you're staying stagnant and you're you're not growing in this thing, that shows that you're lukewarm. You're just in one place. And that's gonna lead to the Lord casting you away. Right. You're not multiplying those talents as the Lord ordered us to do.
Right.
Sirach 21 and 13.
Okay. Go ahead.
This is Sirach 21 and 13. The knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life.
Right, man. The knowledge of a wise man is going to abound like a flood. There's that word abound again. Yo, you can't be stagnant, man. He that believeth on me, as the scripture said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. So read that second part of that verse.
And his counsel is like a pure fountain of life.
See that? So a wise man's counsel is constantly going to be flowing those living waters, man. It's like a fountain of life. Because those words that man speaks is going to direct other men in the right way. Okay? So if you don't learn from men like that, if you don't seek out men like that, how are you going to grow from those fountains of life, so to speak? So you have to constantly be consuming, man. You can't just give a baby don't turn into an adult off of one bottle of milk, man. Imagine how many meals you eat to get to the body that you have now. You know what I mean? Thousands. How many cups of water you have to drink? How many? Man, come on, man. If we had a way to manifest all the food that just the three of us have consumed, it'd probably fill up this whole fucking street. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, all the chicken that we've eaten, all the bottles of water, you know what I mean? All of that stuff adds up, man. So how you gonna grow without constantly nourishing yourself? You see? But that nourishment is spiritual. As far as concerning growth in the spirit, you have to get spiritual food. Okay? Just like the Yahweh Shai told the woman at the well, hey, look, if you drink from this water, you're gonna never thirst. And that went over her head because she thought it was talking about some physical water you can get a cup of and drink. She like, shit, I hate being thirsty. Where that water at? You see?
John 4:21.
Yeah. St. John, the 4th chapter. So, I know we had that 1 Corinthians 3. We can go ahead and get that and then pretty much wrap up. We've been going for 40 minutes or, what other precepts y'all had?
Well, I have the fig tree.
Yeah, no, I mean, we don't got to get it. I'm just saying if y'all wanted to bring out any other precepts before we close up, because it's going to be the last precept.
Okay.
But let's get that in 2 Corinthians. You say you got one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. And it reads, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Heavenly Father, which mercy goes to grace. And that's where we're in the grace period.
Yep. And beseech means what?
Does it mean like
To implore, to beg almost. Like, yo, like, I'm begging you, bro. Like, listen, like, you know, that's somebody beseech. When somebody's beseeching, like they're imploring you, or they're like yearning for you to take heed to what their request is. You see? Go ahead.
God. It says that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
See? So Paul was like, look, I beseech you, brethren, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. Okay? Go ahead.
It says holy, acceptable unto the Heavenly Father.
Right, so does that mean that we're supposed to sacrifice ourselves physically? Right? No. This is the sacrifice, man. This is the altars. Multiple different altars. Okay, it wasn't just one altar that was in the land of Israel. An altar is a place of sacrifice. That's what an altar is. There were multiple, many places of sacrifice, man. Okay? And the scriptures talk about in Isaiah 19, how in these times, right, you're gonna have altars to the Most High, to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai being raised up. And over here, man, you see, in the last days, over here in Babylon the Great, okay? So that's exactly what's going on. Spiritually, we're offering up spiritual sacrifices, like the scriptures talk about in 2 Peter, let me see, chapter 2, or it might be 1 Peter chapter 2, where it talks about those spiritual sacrifices, man, okay? We're the nation of kings and priests offering up spiritual sacrifices to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, because what we're doing is working right now. This is work. Let's be honest. Like, if somebody come up with it to us and ask a question, we got a deal. You know, we going into the scriptures. It requires effort, man. You gotta be on point. You gotta be on point with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You see, to speak that sound doctrine. Okay. So this is work. These are labors, man. Entering into those labors is eventually going to pay off. Okay? Go ahead.
God, it reads, which is your reasonable service.
You see that? But it's reasonable, meaning like, yo, this isn't something that's too far off for us to accomplish. This is our reasonable service, right? Like, it's a reasonable, I don't want to say punishment, but we are getting punished. But even the punishment that we got, that's a reasonable punishment for all the stuff that we did as a nation. The punishment that we received as a nation, yo, we deserved it, man. Because the scriptures say whoever perished being innocent, right? So when it comes to our occupation, this is something that, yo, we're not going to have to do forever, you see? But it's reasonable that the Lord required this of us, because you still got our people going off. So we got to bring the belt out, you know? We got to take that belt off and go and pop it one time, man. And let our people know, like, yo, like, come on, man. You know, we doing that for the Lord, though. You see? Go ahead.
God, verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Right, so we've been commissioned to switch our way of thinking from this wicked, adulterous, pork-eating mindset and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to focus on what does Yahweh Bashim Yahushai want me to do in this life? What is my calling here on the earth? And that's the problem. A lot of people don't have no purpose, man. So they just listen to all the demons that flow into their mind, okay? And they just do whatever the demon tells them to do. A lot of stuff, what people do, they're just doing what demons are telling them to do. So that's why we call them demons. Because the demon is like, basically, it's like a joke, but it's like the demon is just sitting in their head controlling them. A lot of these people, man. You see? So what we pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is for the Spirit of the Lord to maintain that right, you know, that purity, that light within us, to where those demons, they can't stay in. They get constantly, like, we got an immune system. You see, we like, okay, you might get some bacteria in you, but it's not gonna take over your body because you have white blood cells. That's like the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is like the white blood cells to the body, you know, comparative like to our spiritual body. So we don't get overtaken by the bacteria, the demons, and die. You know what I mean? But these other people, they're walking around, they're like zombies, man. They're like dead. They're completely infested. So we don't even want to we don't even want to, like, you know what I mean? You don't even want to get close to them. You might catch something. You see? That's how it is spiritually, how we view it, you know? Go ahead, brother.
This is a precept. Jeremiah 17:9. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? All right? It's like the priest was going into. Without the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you're at will of whatever possesses you. We know this is a host. This is a shell. There's a spirit inside, but we can also entertain spirits unaware. All right? So without the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you're an open vessel. All right? The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua actually directs your way. But without Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you're walking aimlessly through this world like a zombie, like the priest said.
Mm-hmm. Hey, also hold 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 28. Okay? Go ahead, Conda.
Yeah, finish it out. It says, Romans chapter 12, verse 2, finish it out. It says, that he may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of the Heavenly Father. That's ultimately what we're doing, man. We gotta fully be completed. It's a process of us consistently being renewed day by day. And guess what? In that renewing process, you're growing. When you're putting off different little lusts and things you used to do that wasn't a part of this world, that's growth. That's basically what we're going into in this lesson. We can't be conforming more into the world. We gotta be conforming more into the ways of the Lord. Conforming more into Yahweh Shai. That's growth. That's what the Lord is looking at as growth, not you becoming a top tier red pill dude or getting all this money and all that stuff. The Lord don't look at that as growth. He looks at growth spiritually. What are you doing for him?
Yep. Again, he gave us the spirit, man. He gave us the spirit. What are you doing with the spirit of the Lord to further the agenda of him that gave you the spirit? That's the question. Okay, let's get that Corinthians. Go shot.
This is
Chapter 11.
oh man, it's 1 Corinthians, right?
Yeah, 11 and 28.
I just had it. This is 1 Corinthians 11 and 28. And it reads, but let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup.
Yeah, before you eat of the bread of Yahushai and drink of the cup of Yahushai, you don't want to be doing that unworthily, right? So examine yourself first. You see? The reason why you may not be growing, the reason why you may be stagnant, it may not be abounding, maybe you're not properly examining yourself, man. We got to make sure that we constantly are examining ourselves, okay? And catching ourselves, because the scriptures say that he that is spiritual judgeth all things. But if you're being a carnal-minded individual in a moment, you got to catch that and nip it in the bud, you see? So that you don't get judged by another man, whether it be Esau with the power to kill or whoever, whatever. You gotta, as an individual, we all as our own men that have control of our own, minds, being in this truth, we gotta look over our own self first before we even worry about anything else. We gotta care about our own house, get our own house in order. You see, before we try to help clean up another house, what about your house? You see, all of that applies to all of us, man, as individuals. Like Bonson Pod said, man, you gotta have a personal relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. You see, before you can try to do anything else, really. What did Paul, as soon as he got knocked off the horse, right? As soon as he got knocked off the horse, he went and communed with Yahweh Shai for those 3 years. Well, I think it was in Arabia. He went and communed with Yahweh Shai for those 3 years. He got it you know, he got it to where he got his foundation straight, because he realized everything he was for and everything he was pushing, and all the energy that he was putting was in the wrong places. You see, so that's what we got to do. Examine ourselves, right? Go ahead.
And it reads, for he that eateth and drinketh, this is 1 Corinthians 11 and 28. It's like 29. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body.
Right, you're condemning yourself to destruction, man. If you commence in the acts of this ministry and you don't consider your ways before, you don't examine yourself, and you end up being unworthy to eat and drink of this holy thing, and now it's a condemnation unto you, because you have made an oath with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that you didn't keep, and the Lord will require that of you. You see, so examine before you start. Okay, talking about coming out here on the highways and byways, and preaching the word and doing lessons and all of that. Examine. We got to come, and we have to constantly examine ourselves too. Make sure that we're not veering off the path. Right? Go ahead. And we also have more experienced elders and older brothers to keep us in that way. Right? Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians 11 and 30. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep.
See that? So the Lord will kill you, man. He'll smite you with sickness. You see, and if you're going through sickness, it could be other reasons why, right? But some people catching hell because they partaken in the bread and the cup of Yahushua unworthily. You see? So the Lord, you know, he'll judge you, man. If you not doing what you're supposed to do. You see? If you know this truth and you just, you know, do it when you want to do it, you know, you found out you were Israelite back in 2017, and here it is 2013, and you ain't been to a camp yet. What you live, I mean, unless you live in Antarctica, you know, it's camps all over, man. What are you doing? As a man, if you believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? And you're in a city within 50-mile, 100-mile radius of a camp, a GMS camp, yo, you gotta check that out, man. You gotta check in, man. Or you can just watch the videos, but don't be trying to teach. Because you know, don't be trying to teach and stuff. I mean, you gotta come up under the order, man. You see? Because if you start teaching without going to the church, one of the churches, yo, you don't have no hedge of protection. The brothers, man, we look after the flock. You see? So, all that being said, to grow in this truth, man, yo, like, it takes experience and it takes a little bit of courage, but it's worth it, okay? Because you'd rather know what to do in those times than be lost in the sauce. Like majority of our people will be lost in the sauce, man, okay? So let's finish that out in 1 Corinthians 3 and
1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians.
Was it 2 Corinthians? I thought it was first.
Okay.
Well, before we started the lesson, what did I call for it? It was, I thought it was, maybe it might be 2 Corinthians 3. And the last 5 verses. Whichever one has 18.
I got you. It's right here.
Yeah. So, look at verse 12.
Got you.
What is this? Yeah, 2 Corinthians. My bad.
Yep. This 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 12. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech.
Yeah, the hope of salvation. Right? Us as teachers, we want to be speaking candidly to you, brothers, so that, you know, and few sisters, so that it makes sense. You know, we don't want to just be speaking all different types of parables, not breaking it down, right? We want to make sense when we're speaking to you brothers that's listening, okay, so that you may be edified. Go ahead.
Verse 13, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face.
Right, because when Moses came down from off the mount, or whenever he was communing with the Lord, with the Ark of the Covenant, he was in the tabernacle with the Ark of the Covenant, and he would be communing directly, because the Most High Yahweh said, look, with my prophets I'll speak to them in dreams and visions, but with Moses I'm speaking to him face to face. So the face of Moses, when he would get done communing with the Heavenly Father, and like through the Spirit, his face was physically shining to where he had to put a veil over his face whenever he exited the tabernacle, so that people, otherwise wouldn't you just basically just like looking into a flashlight, you see? Because again, Moses, the Lord had it to where Moses, he was able to commune with the Most High, right? He was able to commune with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and not die, like the Lord kept his spirit in his body. Like, he didn't, the scriptures say no man can behold my face and live, but the Most High showed Moses his glory. You see, Most High showed Yahweh Bashem Yahushai showed Moses his glory, and in communing with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, his face was shining when you go into the history. So he had to put a veil that he could see through, but it would at least kind of cover the face so where that light, people could talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Still, after he just got done talking to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? So go ahead.
That the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished.
Again, the flesh. That veil represents the flesh. So basically that veil represents like the thing that restricts us from that light, from that direct access. You see, this flesh, right? Go ahead.
Continuing on, verse 14. But their minds were blinded, for until the day remaineth that the same until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament.
Right. So now, even in these times, our people, man, they don't understand the scriptures, the majority of them, because the same veil that was in front of Moses' face blocking that light is symbolic. It's a spiritual veil over our people's minds, right? Over their heart, talking about uncircumcised heart. It's a spiritual veil over their minds to prevent that knowledge, that light, that spirit from coming in. So that's why when we can read the scriptures all day until we're blue in the face. We can curse our people out. We can talk to them sweet. We can talk to them harsh. They're not gonna get it. 2/3 of our people, man, in Babylon the Great, they're not gonna make it, man. Okay? So we gotta remember that. Go ahead.
It reads, which veil is done away in Yahushua.
So if Yahushua is taking that veil away from us, believers, you gonna have to grow, man. You can't be stagnant. We don't have an excuse to be stagnant in the spirit. The 2/3, they're gonna be stagnant because they can't receive it. They're blocked. They don't have the hardware. We have the the hardware to be able to compute. You know what I mean? The information of the spirit. Whereas you try to have a conversation with your uncle or your cousin, your nephew, he's gonna look at you cross-eyed like, what the hell is this guy talking about, man? That's just what it is. You brothers have experienced it, trying to explain the truth to the people in the world, or a woman. You're trying to break down the prophecies to a woman. Revelation 13, you in the living room, you got a chick, you're trying to break it down. The mark, that's talking about, and you read, that's talking about, see here, look, it says charagma. She gonna be like, what the hell is this guy? You see? Because again, only spiritual men are able to receive spiritual things. And you have a woman that can be, more spiritual than other women, okay? But really breaking down the prophecies, that was always given to men. The prophets were all men. You see? So let's finish that out to the end of the chapter.
Verse 15, so 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 15. But even unto this day, when Moses read, the veil is upon their heart. Verse 16, nevertheless, when it shall turn unto the Lord, the veil shall be taken away.
You see that? So until this day, right now, even until this day, because it said until this day, that was over 2,000 years ago, until that day, right? Because it was referring something that even happened even 2,000 years before that, when we were, you know, in the wilderness with Moses. So Paul was saying, look, from that time, even until this day, which was back then 2,000 years ago, well, guess what? That even remains true until this day, to this day, right? Like Deontay Wilder said. So until this day, you have that veil that's preventing our people from understanding the Old Testament, understanding the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why if you brothers ever wonder, yo, man, damn, why people, they just can't get right? But they got a veil blocking them from being able to receive spiritual things. That's really what it comes down to, right? Now, read that part, that last part that you just read.
It reads, the veil shall be taken away.
Yep. Read up.
Got you. It says, nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away.
Right. You see that? So in the kingdom, no Israelite's gonna have the veil over their hearts, man, over their minds to be able to receive that knowledge, or to prevent them from receiving the Spirit. Okay, that veil, that this flesh is gonna be taken away. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Verse 18. But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass of glory.
Beholding as in a mirror, okay? We all with open face, us brothers in the know, we can look at a mirror, right? Or look through a glass, right? You can look through a pane of glass and see past that glass, right? Go ahead.
It says, glass of the Lord are changed into the same image from glory to glory.
Right. So you're going to go from one level to another level, man, over time. Because even us, though we have that veil removed, right? That's a glorious thing. In this flesh, you know, we have that veil removed from our hearts, from our minds, to be able to understand to a certain degree spiritual things, you know, to a sufficient degree, the spiritual things that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua requires for us to be able to enter into that full glory, which is those new bodies, right? So the growth never stops, man. Until we up out of here, until the kingdom of heaven is set up, okay, in its fullness and on earth as it is in heaven, yo, we got work to do, man. That's the mindset that we got to continue to be in. So the question remains, where's the growth? You see, a plant, if it stops growing, that means it's dead. Plants don't stop growing, man. They constantly produce forth new fruits and things. You got trees that's hundreds of years old. You see? So we got to be like that, man. We got to be continually growing, always abounding, man. Y'all brothers got any final points? Okay, go ahead.
It says, even as by the Spirit of the Lord.
Break it down.
And that's ultimately that's what we have to do. We have to go from glory to glory with what the Lord have given us, man. And guess what? Eventually, it'll be all the way to the point where we're just like Yahweh Shai, literally changed into that new body. But you can't just sit up here and, you know what I'm saying, Lord, if you're not doing as the Lord told you, being obedient, which ultimately is you fearing Him, then the Lord's not gonna continue to keep supping with you. He's gonna eventually be like, okay, now I'm not this plan ain't break this. I'm not gonna keep doing this plan. Because it speaks on that in the John the 15th chapter. It says He purged the good plan that bring forth more fruit. So if you're not bringing forth no fruit, then the Lord is gonna purge you out. He's gonna be done away with. So if you want to continue to grow, you got to continue to do as the Lord had told you and make the best use of whatever gift He gave you.
That's right. That's it, Pop, man. That's it. Yeah. This is the last one here. We're gonna close out.
This is Matthew 21 and 19. And it reads, and when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it and found nothing thereon, but leaves only, and said unto it, let no fruit grow on thee henceforward forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. So, you know, like you said, the fig tree is likened unto, man is likened unto the fig tree where it's supposed to grow. The fig tree is likened unto a man, or vice versa, where it's supposed to grow and yield fruits. And if that fig tree or man is not yielding that fruit, then nothing is left of it but to wither and die. So that's a very good point right there. And you know, fruit is supposed to be produced, and that fruit is for, you know, the elect to hear this information, and therefore come into this. So I said this the fold.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, we are the fruits of other men that have entered into the labors in times before us. So now we gotta produce more for it. Like, we're just a tiny branch on the tree, you know, because ultimately that root is Yahushua. That trunk is Yahushua. We're all a part of that, you know, brothers. We're all a part of it. We're a branch or a little twig. We got to do our part. Like all of these, like you got the bigger branches on the trees, right? And then you got, or even this tree right here behind us. You got like different branches, and then even on the branch, you have like little tinier kind of twigs and new growth and stems that are coming out. Some of us, you know, with those new stems that might eventually grow into like a little twig with some fruit on it. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how it is, but it's all spiritual. It's all resembling us men, you know, like you said, brother, it's all resembling men in the flesh. But spiritually, that's kind of like how it is. Like every tree starts off as a little twig, and then it grows into a trunk, and then it has other twigs that come up, and those twigs come into branches, right? And those branches produce more twigs, and stems come from out the twig. So it's a constant growth thing. And that's what we were seeing, man. As time progresses, that's what we're seeing. Okay, so hey, Lord willing, Abaratazah, this is an edifying lesson to you, brothers, man. Make sure to continue that mindset of growth, okay? And with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and those, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.